by
I'm recording.
Tim Minchin, and I'm sitting here with little-known up-and-coming artist Paul McCartney, who we're here to make an announcement for Australia and New Zealand, which I'm very excited about. Go, Paul.
Hey, Tim.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm going to come to Australia and New Zealand in December to play some concerts, and I'm very excited. Haven't been there a long time.
No, I was just saying to you before the cameras started rolling that I'm pretty sure, 25 years ago, I was living across from Subiaco Oval, sitting in my front porch, listening to the sound come over the walls, because I couldn't afford it back then.
And we wouldn't let you in.
And also, there was a lot of language at the door. Yeah. So what we are doing today, first, okay, so I'm going to tell everyone the dates.
Great.
Paul's starting in Perth on December the 2nd, my hometown, go the Dockers, then Melbourne on the 5th, Brisbane on the 9th, Sydney on the 11th, and Auckland, of course, on the 16th of December. And I'm incredibly excited by it. I'm going to try and be down in Australia for them. And what we're doing today is we've got people from the internet who have questions for you, Paul, and I hope they're all questions you've never heard before.
Yeah.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
All right.
And I will try and answer them. I might refuse to answer a few.
It would be good if we could have a quite awkward moment.
I could get an awkward moment going.
Maybe end up in a fight. That would certainly get
some attention, and this is what we'll do.
And this is what you need.
Let's
you need more attention because you just can't sell tickets otherwise. We need something to go viral. Okay, here we go. I don't know how long this is going to go for, sort of 20 minutes or something, or an hour and a half. We'll see what happens. Hi, Paul, says Ben. No, B, Bay, B-E-A. Is that B. Marie from Australia. There's an urban myth that once you were asked by a journalist, what's it like being the world's greatest songwriter? To which you apparently replied, I don't know, go and ask Neil Finn. Is that a true story? And what? Is it a true story?
No.
No. It never is.
No, it isn't a true story, but it just isn't a true story. Sorry, B.
It's not a true story, and you don't like Neil Finn's songs at all, is that?
I didn't say that.
No.
I don't, but I didn't say that. No, now I said it.
Amazing.
I love his songs, actually.
I do too. He's unbelievable. What are your fondest memories of Australia, and will we get a chance to hear Ode to a Koala Bear being slipped into the sea?
That's a thought, isn't it? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Fondest memories, I think, were the wildlife, because we don't have that over here. We don't have kangaroos or koalas. So we went to a zoo and were able to, me and the kids, were able to hold a little peaceful koala.
Yeah, some of them are evil.
Yeah,
famous.
this one didn't attack anyone.
They drugged them too.
It was drugged.
Drug your koalas, kids.
Oh my God, just kidding here.
Yeah.
And seeing a kangaroo as we were driving along, and seeing a bunch of kangaroos hopping by the roadside, which is fairly surreal for me.
Unbelievable. I grew up with that happening all the time, but I must admit that must be pretty weird.
But also it was frogs.
Oh, right.
Hopping.
Yeah. Well, the first time I saw a frog, I freaked out. So I guess it's just cultural. Okay, what's your absolute... this is one of those what's your favourite questions, which are always impossible. But Josh Coote from New Zealand says, what is your favourite album you've had a part in recording? Had a part in? Played a small part in recording?
Yeah. No, like you say, it really is a difficult question because they change, your favourites, and also they're like your children. You don't want to have a favourite. This year it's got to be Sgt. Pepper because I'm re-listening to it because it's all released after 50 years, and it does sound good. So, but I do like Rubber Soul and do like Band on the Run.
Me too. And I always think, I find, obviously, like everyone knows, your career just impossible to get my head around and how you guys survived that and came up being so normal and stuff. But I can't imagine how you separate those albums in the 60s. You're writing songs at such an incredible rate. Do you sometimes think, replace experiences, or is it very clear what the Sgt. Pepper experience was like and what the Rubber Soul experience was like?
You know, it does merge into one a little bit. You know, the Beatles' recording career. It's all pretty much Abbey Road.
Yeah.
So, you know, my main memory of recording is Studio 2, Abbey Road. But, yeah, I've got a pretty good recollection of, certainly Sgt. Pepper, because that was the first time we'd been really allowed as much time as we wanted, because we were now off the road. And so that was different. We could fuss over every little sound. And, you know, I'd kind of forgotten that we did until some of the films and stuff came out about Sgt. Pepper, where a guy, he does a thing about Penny Lane. He says, "There's Penny Lane, and there isn't piano." And he says, "But it's not just one piano, it's 8 pianos." And I'm going, "What?
George, you scallywag?
No, Paul and you Beatles use scallions." I just forgot we did that.
You made that
but we had so much time that it was like, okay, the piano sounds good. Well, let's do another piano with a bit more trebly. Ding, ding, ding. I'll bring that back bit. And then let's put a little harmonium and fold that into the piano sound.
So you're building that, because the reason I said George, because I assumed that you sort of put down 8 versions and he afterwards...
No, George did a lot of stuff afterwards, but it was mainly us. Mainly us just on a big creative surge. We suddenly had time, you know, to be like, oh, let's do this, and the chord at the end of Day in the Life. This is one of the Beatles songs for younger viewers. Famous chord at the end of it.
I know it very, very well.
I'd just come in and said, have you ever put the loud pedal down on a piano and hit a chord and just see how long it lasts for? I was fascinated. It goes for a good minute. You still hear it kind of thing. So we did that idea, but then George Martin would say, okay, it's running out. So he fed in another piano, and so George would do expert things like that, which was very cool, you know.
I was obsessed by trying to end a musical. I just was involved in writing with a chord that sounded that good. I don't think we quite made it, but it's a similar sense of just home. We're home and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Hey Paul, says Robert House, also from Australia. Just wondering how much the Liverpool sense of humour played a part in the success of the Beatles. Which I guess is a question you've had a million times, but since from this documentary, it's so present.
Yeah, no, it's you don't actually get asked. You normally get more asked about music, you know. But I do think it was a big thing, because, you know, being from Liverpool, you've sort of naturally surrounded by a big sense of humour. Everyone's always joshing and doing things. My dad would say the craziest things. So when the 4 of us got together, we all kind of knew that as a background. And then, because we spent so much time together, the sense of humour really helped.
Yeah.
And so in songs and things, the sense of humour kind of crept in. Yeah. I mean, we had a song we were really fighting with, which was one of mine, which was Golden Rings. It was terrible. It was like, oh baby, I'll get you golden rings. And it was like, God, we couldn't, me and John sitting there, couldn't finish it. And then we decided to change it into Drive My Car, where there's a girl who hasn't actually got a car, but she wants a chauffeur. So the sense of humour kind of creeps in those kind of places. And then just to stop you going mad is the other reason for
that. That's what the incredible thing about the recent documentary is how much that was clear, was that your humour and your camaraderie was absolute survival, and when being funny stopped working, that's when you stopped. Like really, when it all got so serious that you couldn't survive with banter anymore. You could no longer look at the press and be cheeky. That was the beginning of the end of the touring era. That's certainly how.
I think that's right. Yeah, it's true.
It's amazing that you got out at that point instead of letting that. Because then subsequently there was still all that wit in the lyrics. I mean, I'm obsessed by wit in lyrics, and that's why for me, part of the many reasons that you guys are so important to me is that you were witty all the time. There was all this stuff going on. That's brilliant. Anyway, this is going to just turn into one of those. Anyway,
it's all down to Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Yeah,
I went back to Liverpool years ago. I'm always going back up, and I have a school there which I went to called the Liverpool Institute. Me and George went there, so I tell people half the Beatles went to this school. You know, good reason to save it. Anyway, it was falling down, so we did save it, and it's now a performing arts school.
Yeah.
And I was going back up there, feeling very good about myself, you know. And I looked over, and there's an old Liverpool guy. He goes, "Hey, Paul!" I go, "Yeah," thinking, yes. He goes, "Thank you."
Cheers.
You know.
I'm home.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, there's so many questions. Okay. I'm just going to read. I haven't even read this one. One thing I really admire about you as an artist, says Kieran Shalley from New Zealand, is your never-ending endeavour to continuously experiment with new sounds and types of music, and how you're always open to collaborating with younger artists like Michael Jackson in the 80s, and more recently Kanye West and Rihanna. What other modern artists do you like? It's me,
Well,
clearly.
besides Tim.
Yeah. Have any helped you? Have any help influence sounds for some material on your new album? Do you think you get influence back from? Do you listen lots?
I'm not sure about that. You know, I definitely like working with other people, and so like in Kanye's case, I just got a phone call and my manager said, "Kanye West would like to work with you." So I go, "Yeah," and we do it. I was a little bit nervous at first because I thought, "Oh God, it could go horribly wrong," but I was intrigued to see what he was up to and see how he did it, really. And it was a very intriguing process. You basically don't write songs. You basically just talk and noodle a bit, and you record it all on your phone. And then he goes away and... and that's basically his record. But
So weird, isn't it?
it was great doing it though, because I don't work like that. I normally sit down with a guitar. So I think it kind of does influence you a bit. It opens doors.
Yeah.
As I say, you know, I would just talk to him about something, and it would give him an idea for a song. And when we finished, we wrote for about 2 or 3 days, just in the afternoons, and didn't tell anyone, because I said, you know, if this doesn't work, let's just pretend we didn't, you know, we never got around to it, and don't tell anyone. But so I was waiting, you know, 3 months after we'd finished. I didn't really hear anything except, "Hey, bro, what's going on?" You know, yeah. But I'm thinking, should I say, did we write a song?
Yeah.
Has there a record come out of this? You know. Anyway, this arrives, and it's a Rihanna song. I'm going, "Oh, this is great. It's 4 or 5 seconds." I said, "This is great." But I have to ring up and say, "Am I on this?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, you're the guitar player." I go, "I don't remember." So yeah, well, we sped it up. So they manipulate this kind of
Absolutely different process.
yeah. Although, you know, when we're talking about Sgt. Pepper, we love manipulating. So I think we would have been into a lot of these tricks nowadays, because, you know, we did speed things up a little bit. Probably not as much. Well, we couldn't have actually sped it up as much as Kanye was allowed to. Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, very Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
In fact, you do get a bit of that on the Rihanna record.
Right.
There is a little bit goes, and apparently that's me. Sped up.
It is amazing, and I have no doubt that you guys were pushing the form forward absolutely at an incredible rate, and pushing production technology forward at an incredible rate. So it blows my mind to think. I guess the people like Kanye perhaps are the equivalent these days, but I'm the same. When I think about writing a song, I sit down at a piano and write a song, and that's just no one that I know at 20 is doing that, really.
Yeah,
it's
no,
all about loops.
And it's a strange thing because I get involved with that. You know, sometimes I'll try a producer I've never worked with before, or I like what he does. So I think, well, you know, here goes nothing.
Yeah.
I'll just ring him up and we get together. And again, I'm going in the studio with songs, wondering if I'm going to be asked to use them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
Here's a groove. I go,
now what? And I'm
well,
like,
that's good. And now the producer will say, now go out and sing.
Yeah.
I'll go, what? He said, well, just
Oh, I find it
it's,
so scary.
it's improv.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, halfway through these sessions, I just recently, it worked out, but halfway through I said, this is like panic for me, because I'm standing there, I don't know how the tune goes, I don't know what the words are, and I'm just going, yeah, whoa, I really love you, babe. Oh, I got to get it. And I said, these are the worst bloody lyrics ever.
Because your starting lyrics are always bad. That's the point of songwriting, is you start with crap and you hone it into something good. And you go, what, we're going to leave out the honing bit and just do the intuitive bit? I don't know. But
So I ended up, I said, okay, we'll do it like this, but then you've got to go away and I've got to write this song.
Yeah.
You know, we'll do all the blocking. Where's the where? Then I'll go where and put words in. But it was fascinating doing it.
I bet. I find it weird. Someone asked about, I can't find the question, I was scanning through these earlier, someone asked about, which again is a hard question, but just to bring it back to the live thing, I was noticing was there a 6-month break between your last tour and this one or something? I mean, you obviously tour and tour and tour. What is the live experience now? Asking how it differs from 50 years ago is obviously a huge question, but also what makes you, I think I know the answer, but what makes you want to get up again and again, and how does it feel now as compared to those days as an experience?
Yeah, you know, it's a simple answer. It's just because I really like it. It's a big operation these days.
Yeah.
You know, there's like 140 people put it together. So I think of it like Formula One.
Yeah.
Or something. We've got these amazing technicians who can change a tyre in 3 seconds. Can't tune a guitar. But, no, so you've got these great guys all working, and so I think that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And like, that's my team, so I love that. And we get on very well, so it's kind of good to go back to that. It's like a family reunion. Then the audience is the other big thing. The audience is amazingly warm these days. I hope you heard that. You're going to be amazingly warm. No, but there is this sort of thing that comes off them, which is like, whoa. And what I do is I tell my promoter, I'll say, just put one of the shows on sale and just see how we're doing. And he might ring me back and say, wow, fantastic, you know, sold out in an hour, the whole thing. So I go, okay, I'm cool. They like me. So, you know, it's funny, I remember that. I think when I was younger, when we were starting out with the Beatles, they didn't necessarily like us. There came a time when they liked us too much and just screamed. But in the beginning, you know, some of the Teds in the audience were,
Yeah.
and throwing money at us and things, you know, which we did collect.
Oh, of course.
Put in our pockets. But, you know, it wasn't always easy. So the fact that the audiences are now very warm is a great thing.
And when you're up there and you've got, you know, a perfect mix in your in-ears and you know, I mean, do you have a visceral, again, this is probably a boring question, a visceral memory of, you know, playing in 1966 and not being able to hear? And, I mean, do you remember what I was like compared to now? And do you go, oh, think how much it's
Well, actually, I don't use the in-ears, so like everyone does, and I'm told I should. But I like to hear the audience. If someone shouts out, I don't.
It's very isolated.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You know, I just go, yeah, sure. Whatever my response is.
Yeah.
But we can be heard. Yeah. No matter how loud the audience is, we've got speakers that can go loud. So, you know, you do think, wow, you know, there was a time when we couldn't. More funnily enough, though, what I'm thinking isn't so much that, because you accept that. You know, you just know, it was terrible then. Yeah. We plugged my bass and 2 guitars into 1 amp.
I just don't understand. I don't understand how you sung in tune. Like, I was listening to that Hollywood Bowl recording. I literally don't understand how you guys were in tune so much. It's like you had played so many gigs that it was just muscle memory.
I think that's what it was.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I always say we were a great little band. You know, and that, for me, is what's precious about the Beatles. Okay, we were a great little band that expanded beyond all expansion, but the fact that we could just sit down and go, one for the money, and we all knew it.
You were so
And
tight.
just tight little band, yeah. So,
early days, it was so tight.
yeah. Well, with me, instead of thinking about the quality of the sound, what I'm thinking about is when we recorded it,
Yeah.
or the young kids that recorded this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was like mid-20s
Yeah.
when I did something like Eleanor Rigby, so I'm singing it going, that's pretty good. This kid's not bad. No, I like those words.
Yeah.
The face by the jaw, by the door. And
And that's the other thing that freaks me out, and I am going to just collapse into a pool of fanboying, but that all those lyrics you wrote in your 20s, because I'm a lyrics, I care very much about, and I care very much, I find it very hard to listen to songs where the lyrics are lazy or reductive or cliches or whatever. I can't, yeah. The fact that you're writing those lyrics in your 20s freaks me out. Anyway, I'm going to ask a question from someone else now, completely monopolizing. Oh my God. There's a question someone's asked about.
who's the someone?
It's Sabina Conakanen from Australia. There seems to be a trend for musicians these days to turn their hand to writing scores for musicals, by which they mean pop musicals. Cyndi Lauper, Neil Finn, Sting did one.
And other people.
And other people. Well, but I didn't have a pop career first. I just went straight there. But do you... So then, Sir Paul, can we expect to see something from you anytime soon? Can I just say he's not allowed? You can't go stepping in my work.
Your territory.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, I've been asked,
Yeah.
and still do get asked, because it kind of is a natural progression. But me and John, when we started, were asked a lot, because Lennon, McCartney,
Yeah.
Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the things we liked about it. It sounded like old
Yeah.
writers. Sounds like a team.
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Gilbert and Sullivan, yeah. So we were asked a lot, but we didn't like it. John, in particular, hated musicals.
Yeah.
He liked West Side Story. We liked West Side Story because that was like innovative, and that like grabbed us, and it's really good.
So good.
But things like John and I one afternoon went to see South Pacific,
Yeah.
and we actually walked out because he just couldn't stand it. I mean, I would have sat.
Yeah.
Just watched it because I paid my money and I'll watch anything, you know. But he was like, bloody hell, you know. Because what happens is they start, you know, the girl in it, Mitzi Gaynor, I think it was, she starts going, I wonder if he's looking at me. Can he really see me?
Oh my God.
And we're going, oh no. And then he starts, oh, I think she's looking at me. I don't know. And we're going, no, stop it.
I have to be very careful about how I talk about musicals because I'm meant to love them, but yeah, they're very, very hard.
No, there are some
to
great
make
ones.
not stuck.
And there are some. The old ones, you know, don't survive quite as well these days. Some of them.
But they keep doing them, and I'm like, they don't need to see that one again. Let it die. All right. I'm scared we're going to run out of time before we do. Paul, love your work. Thanks, Georgia. So there's so many questions.
So little time.
So little time. Oh, hi Paul. What is your warm-up routine before hitting the stage? Any particular drinks, snacks or confectionery? A traditional must-have?